This video is about field modification, which is a new feature in World of Tanks 1.4. You're probably not going to use this feature because it is extremely cost prohibitive. Only the players that have the most resources will be able to use it, and they're only going to be able to use it for one tank. I mean, it's extremely cost prohibitive, and a lot of it just doesn't make sense. I'm going to use an example. You have to unlock, see how it says tier 7? It costs you 224,000 EXP in order to unlock this. You'd have to play a long period of time with the same tank, 224,000 EXP to unlock this, plus you're going to have to pay hundreds of thousands of silver in order to choose which option you want. And what you gain is so small that it's not worth it. I'm going to use the example with spotting range. This option right here, which is tier 6, could give you a 1% increase in spotting range. It's only 5 meters. So why would you spend hundreds of thousands of silver and 168,000 EXP to get a 5-meter increase in spotting? You understand what I mean? The other issue is a lot of the choices you have, like let's say we start with level 2 here, they just don't make sense. And you have 2 to choose from. You see how it says or? It says 150,000 and 150,000. You choose one or the other. Not only do they not make sense, but it's a lose-lose situation. We'll use the example of this one. This gives you plus 6% to concealment after firing, but you lose 2% view range. And this gives you 2% view range, but you lose 6% concealment after firing. Why would you sacrifice one for the other? I mean, don't you want both? You want the increased view range and you want the increased concealment, but this is taking it away from you. This one is top reverse speed up 2 kilometers, but your repair speed goes down 15% and your engine power goes down 2%. And this one, engine power up 2%, suspension repair speed up 15%, but you lose 2 kilometers of reverse speed. And I've reviewed some of them, and some of them you could make a choice and say, I really want the increased concealment, so I will sacrifice the view range. That's what I would do. I would choose whatever I think is the greater value. But a lot of them just aren't worth it. This is sacrificing the aiming circle size for the aiming speed. And this one is suspension durability versus traverse speed. So that means, wow, you're going to drive a little bit faster, but you're going to turn slower. You're going to take a wider angle when you turn. Why would you choose to go faster and turn slower, or turn faster but drive slower? You know, it's a lose-lose situation, and you pay 150,000 credits to lose. There's going to be cases where you can say, okay, this type of vehicle needs traverse speed. But then you lose the 30% for suspension durability. You're going to get tracked all the time. So it's huge sacrifice. Over here, you have alternative shells and consumables. In some cases, it's going to matter. In some cases, you're going to say, I'm in a high-tier game. I want all gold rounds, and I want food consumable. That's tier 1. You're probably going to do this for a lot of your tanks. It's only 28,000 to increase to level 1. With a low-tier tank, like a tier 6, it's only like 3,000 EXP to increase to level 1. So you could use this conceivably on all of your lower-tier tanks. But let's say we move up to 2. This is the one that everybody wants, a different set of equipment and directives, so that maybe if you're in an open field, you're going to have better spotting equipment. And if you're in a city, you're going to have equipment to protect yourself from getting hit, or to aim a little bit more accurately, or to not get tracked. Well, that's tier 3. In this case, you need 84,000 experience, and whatever the credit cost is, it doesn't say the credit cost. Maybe there isn't a credit cost. I don't know. But look at all the games you got to play to get 84,000 EXP. If you get 1,000 EXP per game, you need 84 games to get that option. You see why it's a problem? You're going to be playing for weeks to get the ability to unlock a feature that you want now. This is for adding, you understand what it is. You get 1 out of 3 slots is a special modification bonus, and you can match it or not. This gives you an option to have a second slot, which gives you, let's say, an extra percent or an extra 2%. Costs you 168,000 experience. And if it's free experience, this is like more than a year worth of gameplay. You have to play 100 games or over 100 games to unlock that. Plus, everything you need. I don't know if this is to jump to level 6 or if you got to pay for all the levels beneath. I don't know. But the bonus you get is only like 1%. And not only that, these special slots, they don't work with bounty equipment, and they don't work with bonded equipment. They don't work with improved equipment. It only works with regular equipment. And that's the reason why the whole field modification is going to be a complete failure. If you're playing a game for hundreds of battles, you're going to put the bonded equipment on it, and you're going to put the bounty equipment on it. So this improved slot will be a waste. Okay, so field modification is definitely going to fail. For the lower tiers, we'll switch to a lower tier. We're going to look at tier 6. Apologize that my system is slow. And we're going to see what the costs are. And someone else made the point that you have advantages over the previous tier, which is tier 5. So, for example, in this case, it's only 3,500 to get to the first level. And then 7,000, and then 10,000. This is the one that everybody really wants, which is the alternative configuration. But you got to play like 10 games to earn the EXP to purchase this. Again, it doesn't show the silver cost. And these items, they cost 10,000. But look at what you're getting. For the increase of 5% of traverse speed, which means spinning your tank around, you lose 7% of your maintaining speed on all types of terrain. Why would you want to go slower to spin faster? You understand what I mean? It's a lose-lose situation. And this one was for spotting. Over here, you add 3% to view range, but you increase stun duration. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. What does stun duration have to do with view range? I guess it's a different piece of equipment. Sound insulation, it's called, versus the periscope. So, lose-lose. And with the lower tiers, obviously, you cannot get some of the higher tier options, such as the extra slot. And it does cost $17,500 to unlock everything, which means to get to the option to increase your view range by 3%, which might only be 10 meters or 15 meters. You're talking about one tank length, right? You have to pay. I mean, 17,000 is how much it probably takes for you to get to the next tier. You have to really love that tank in order to pay for any of these options or this equipment. If you're not going to be playing hundreds of games in the same tank, it's just not worth it to use field modification. You need tanks that you're willing to play hundreds of times, such as the Scorpion G or the Progetto. Or you need to have a lot of resources, such as EXP, not so much with the silver. So my opinion is that field modification is going to fail. They made you get excited about it because of the equipment loadout change, and unfortunately it's too costly. It's cost prohibitive for you to get it, and no one's going to sit on a tank. It's only going to be a few rare players that are going to use the field modification, and they're going to discover that field modification is going to fail and people aren't using it, and they will either have to change it so that it's easier and more logical, or they're just going to keep it the way it is and only the player with a lot of resources will use it, which means that they don't intend it for the average player. They might only intend to keep field modification for players that have a lot of silver in their bank. Only got so much. It's only 1,000,000. And I don't have a lot of free EXP, but there's people that have hundreds of thousands, and they're only going to be able to use it on a couple tanks. Tier 10, they're going to be tier 10 players, and you got to spend 224,000 for a tier 10 tank. So this is going to be a complete failure. My advice, don't invest too much into this unless you really don't mind sacrificing your resources. There's already people complaining in the forums about how they spent a lot of EXP and they wish they had it, and they want refunds. Okay. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.